He was one of the biggest stars of the 1970s, comedy pioneer who broke barriers and made America laugh like never before. But years after the fame faded, when a young fan snuck into Flip Wilson's abandoned home, what he discovered inside would leave him absolutely speechless. Flip Wilson wasn't just a comedian, he was a revolution. In the early 1970s, he became the first black entertainer to host a successful network variety show, The Flip Wilson Show. His quick wit, unforgettable characters, and effortless charm made him a household name. Every week, millions tuned in to see his outrageous alter ego, Geraldine Jones, sassing her way through life with lines like, "The devil made me do it." But beneath the laughter, there was a man who carried a deep loneliness, one that fame could never fix. Born Claro Wilson Jr. in Jersey City in 1933, Flip's early life was far from glamorous. His mother abandoned the family when he was just 7, and his father struggled to raise 10 children alone. Flip spent part of his youth in foster homes and reform schools, using humor as his escape. Comedy wasn't just his talent, it was his survival. When he joined the Air Force, he became known as Flipped Out for his sharp sense of humor, and the nickname stuck. By the time he hit the stage in the 1960s, he was unstoppable. When The Flip Wilson Show premiered in 1970, it made history. For 4 years, it dominated television, bringing in guests like Lucille Ball, Sammy Davis Jr., and Richard Pryor. Flip wasn't just telling jokes, he was bridging cultures, breaking stereotypes, and proving that black entertainers could headline mainstream America. He won 2 Emmys, a Golden Globe, and millions of hearts. But while the world adored him, behind the scenes, success came with a heavy price. The pressure of fame wore on him. Endless filming schedules, creative disputes, and the burden of being a trailblazer took their toll. After the show ended in 1974, Flip's career began to slow down. He appeared in a few films and television specials, but something in him had changed. Friends said he grew withdrawn, tired of the spotlight, and wary of the people who once cheered for him. Fame had given him everything and taken just as much away. By the 1980s, Flip Wilson had nearly vanished from Hollywood. He retreated into a quiet life, spending his days flying planes, riding motorcycles, and raising his children in Malibu. He was content, or at least that's what it seemed. But those who knew him said the old sparkle in his eyes had dimmed. He battled health issues and the ghosts of his past, longing for the simplicity that success had stolen years later. After his death in 1998, stories began to circulate about his once vibrant home. It had been left largely untouched, a time capsule of a man who had lived, laughed, and suffered in silence. And when a young fan obsessed with Wilson's legacy found a way to visit the property, what he discovered stopped him cold. Inside, the house was frozen in time. The stage costumes, the awards, the old comedy notes, scribbled in Flip's handwriting, everything sat just as he'd left it. But among the memorabilia was something more haunting. A handwritten letter Flip had never sent. In it, he wrote about how much he missed performing, not for the fame, but for the connection. "I just wanted to make people happy," he confessed, "because when they were laughing, so was I." The young fan left the house that day in tears. He realized that behind the laughter of America's favorite comedian was a man who had spent his whole life chasing joy for others while quietly searching for his own. Today, Flip Wilson's name isn't mentioned as often as it should be, but his legacy lives on. He broke barriers, inspired generations, and proved that laughter could unite people in a way nothing else could. His story is a reminder that even the brightest stars can fade too soon, but the light they leave behind never truly goes out.